I told you don't touch me like I'm invisible.
Her voice shakes, but it doesn't break. It trembles like glass under pressure, and Jun Seo feels every eye in the cafe land on his wrist where he's still gripping her apron. He didn't even realize he grabbed her. He just didn't like the way she looked at him, calm, unimpressed, like his money couldn't buy a reaction. You spilled it, he snaps. You think I'm paying $10 for water with a coffee stain. I didn't spill anything, she says, and her dark eyes lock into his. You hit the tray. The words hang there. The live stream phone in his other hand is still recording. Hearts and laughing emojis explode across the screen. His followers love confrontation. They love when he wins. He laughs louder than he feels. Say sorry. I won't apologize for your hands. Something ugly blooms in his chest. He hears his own voice like it belongs to someone else. Then I'll teach you how to apologize. He lifts the cup. He doesn't think. He just wants control. The coffee arcs in a slow, glittering line under the cafe lights and lands across her collarbone and uniform. The hiss of hot liquid against fabric is small, but the silence after is enormous. No scream. No flinch. She looks down at herself, then back up at him. And smiles. Not sweet, not angry, a smile like she knows a secret. Behind her, the door chime rings. Jun Seo doesn't turn at first. The comments are exploding, bro you wild, SHE deserved IT, king energy, and he's drunk on it, on the power, on the way the room belongs to him. But the temperature changes. Conversations die mid-breath. Even the espresso machine seems quietal. The waitress's smile deepens. You shouldn't have done that, she whispers. Or what, he scoffs, you gonna cry to your manager? My manager, she murmurs, no. A shadow stretches over the table. A massive dog pads forward, claws clicking softly. Black fur, amber eyes, military stillness. It sits between them without a command, its gaze fixed on Jun Seo like a verdict. Only then does he look up. The man behind the dog is tall, shoulders relaxed, expression unreadable. He wears a simple black coat, but the staff are already bowing slightly, instinctively, like their bodies know him before their minds do. The waitress exhales like she's been holding her breath for hours. You're late, she says to the man, gentle. I'm right on time, he answers. Jun Seo laughs, but it's thinner now. Who's this, your boyfriend? You bring guard dogs to work. The man's eyes flick to the live stream phone, then to the coffee dripping from the waitress's sleeve. I'm the consequence, he says quietly. And for the first time in his life, Jun Seo feels something colder than fear. He feels small. The waitress turns back to him. You streamed this to the world, she says softly, so let the world meet you. The man lifts his phone. Notifications scream across the cafe screens. Every device pings at once. Jun Seo's live stream flips hijacked. His own face fills the display above the counter, tagged with his full name, his father's company, every scandal they ever buried. His smile collapses. How he breathes. The waitress leans close enough that he smells coffee and citrus shampoo. You picked the wrong girl to humiliate, she whispers, and the wrong day to do it live. The dog never blinks. Welcome to Afro-Korean Stories TV, where love crosses borders and hearts collide louder than pride. If you've ever felt torn between who you are and who the world demands you be, stay with us. Subscribe, like, and tell us where you're watching from, because this story is about belonging and you're already part of it. Jun Seo's hand is shaking. He hides it in his pocket. He's never shaken before. Not in boardrooms, not in street races, not when tabloids circled him like vultures. He is Park Jun Seo, heir to an empire, prince of a skyline. Fear is for other people. Turn it off, he says, and hates how small it sounds. The man crouches to the dog's level, fingers brushing its collar. I didn't turn anything on, he replies. You did. The world is just watching what you choose to show it. The waitress peels off her soaked apron. Her skin is reddening, but she doesn't look at the burn. She looks at Jun Seo like he's a child she almost pities. Inside her chest, her heart is slamming so hard she thinks it might bruise her ribs. Don't shake. Don't cry. Not in front of him, not in front of them. She hears her mother's voice from a kitchen half a world away. You carry our name in your spine. Stand straight. I want him to apologize, she says. Jun Seo barks a laugh. You think I'm apologizing to a waitress? Her jaw tightens. I'm not just a waitress. I'm not just the girl you think you can burn and forget. Say it. Say it out loud. The man stands. You're apologizing to Nia Akoi, he says. Say her name correctly. The name hits the room like thunder. Jun Seo blinks. He's heard it, somewhere. News articles, security contracts. His father cursed it into phones at midnight. Nia watches recognition dawn in his eyes, and it doesn't feel like victory. It feels like exposure, like standing naked in front of a crowd and daring them to see her. I didn't want this, she murmurs to the man in Korean. I just wanted to work. You wanted to breathe, he answers. He tried to take that from you. Jun Seo's phone buzzes. His father's name fills the screen. Again, again, again. Answer it, a voice inside him screams. Fix this. You fix everything. He doesn't move. I'm not saying sorry, he whispers, because an apology feels like death. I didn't do anything wrong. Nia steps closer. The dog's ears twitch, but it stays seated. Her voice is soft enough that only he hears it. You poured heat on my skin, she says, but that's not what hurts. What hurt you thought I wouldn't matter after. Her eyes shine, and for a second he sees not a waitress, not a scandal, but a woman holding herself together with both hands. He feels something crack in his chest. I don't know how to matter without money, he admits before he can stop himself. The confession shocks them both. Nia inhales sharply. There it is, the wound behind the cruelty. She should hate him. She wants to, but hate is heavy and she's been carrying too much already. The man watches them, silent. He sees the invisible threads pulling tight between pride and longing, shame and recognition. This is no longer about coffee. It's about two people staring at the ugliest parts of themselves and deciding whether to look away. Say it, Nia whispers. Not for the cameras, for me. Jun Seo meets her eyes. The livestream numbers climb. Millions now, the world waits. I'm sorry, he says, and the words scrape his throat raw. I'm sorry I treated you like you were nothing. I'm sorry I needed you to be small so I could feel big. The cafe exhales. Nia closes her eyes. The apology lands inside her like rain on dry earth. It doesn't erase the burn. It doesn't fix the past, but it opens a door she didn't know she wanted. When she looks at him again, her voice is steady. Good, she says, now live with it. And somewhere deep in his bones, Jun Seo knows this moment will cost him everything. And he doesn't step back. Jun Seo doesn't remember leaving the cafe. One moment the air is thick with coffee and shame and Nia's eyes burning into him like a second sun. The next he's in the back of his car with the door slammed shut and his father screaming through the phone so loudly the driver flinches. You humiliated us, his father roars, in front of the world over a waitress. Jun Seo stares at his reflection in the tinted window. His face looks younger, smaller, like a boy trying on a man's jaw. She has a name, he says quietly, Nia. There's silence on the other end, dangerous, cold. I don't care if her name is God, his father snaps. You will fix this, you will bury this. Do you understand me? I don't want to bury it, he thinks. The thought terrifies him. It blooms anyway. I said I'm sorry, he whispers. You apologize when I tell you to apologize, his father hisses. Not when a girl and her pet gangster corner you. The line goes dead. Jun Seo sits there with the echo of it. Pet gangster. He sees the man's eyes again, calm, absolute. A man who didn't need to shout to own a room. a man who stood behind Nia like gravity. I have never had anyone stand behind me like that. The realization hollows him out. Across the city, Nia is pressing ice against her collarbone in the tiny staff bathroom. The burn is blooming pink. It hurts. She welcomes it. Pain is simple. Pain is honest. Her hands are shaking now that she's alone. You didn't cry, she whispers to her reflection. Good, you didn't give him that. But her eyes fill anyway. Not from humiliation. From the way Jun Seo said, I don't know how to matter without money. The words lodged in her ribs like a splinter. Because she knows that hunger. She grew up watching her mother scrub floors in Seoul apartments that smelled like other people's wealth. She learned early that invisibility is a kind of currency. If you're quiet enough, small enough, you survive. But today she refused. A knock on the door, soft. It's me, the man says. She opens it. He takes in the ice, the burn, the tremor in her fingers. His jaw tightens. I'm fine, she says quickly. I'm not broken. I know, he answers. That's why I worry. His name is Kang D-hyun, and the world knows him as a shadow. Security contracts, private intelligence, rumors whispered in government hallways. To Nia, he's just D-hyun, the man who taught her how to breathe when panic locks her chest. You shouldn't have come, she murmurs. I didn't want you dragged into my mess. He almost laughs. You think you and I exist separately. Her throat closes. That's the danger of him. He says things like that and she feels seen down to the bone. I handled it, she insists. I made him apologize. Yes, he says softly, and now he'll never forget you. The words land heavy. A billionaire's son with a wounded ego is not a small enemy. She knows that. D-hyun knows that. Are you scared? He asks. She wants to say no. Instead she whispers, I'm alive. His hand lifts, hesitates, then settles on her shoulder. Warm, steady. She leans into it before she can stop herself. Inside his chest, something fierce and forbidden tightens. I would burn this city for you, he thinks, and that is exactly why I must never say it. I'll increase security, he says instead, quietly. I don't want a cage, she snaps, pulling back. I just wanted one normal job. He studies her. The pride, the exhaustion, the way she fights helps like it's an insult. You deserve safety, he says. That's not a cage. She laughs bitterly. Safety always feels like a leash when you've never had freedom. The words hang between them raw. He recognizes the truth in them. He's been powerful for so long he forgot what it feels like to ask permission to exist. I'm trying to protect you, he says. I know, she whispers. That's what scares me. Because protection feels too much like love, and love is a risk she cannot afford. Her phone buzzes, thousands of notifications. Her face is everywhere. The clip is viral beyond control. Some call her brave, some call her a gold digger, some threaten her. She scrolls with numb fingers. They're arguing about whether I deserved it, she says hollowly. Strangers voting on my pain. D-hyun gently takes the phone from her hand and locks it. You don't belong to them, he says. But she does, now. The world has claimed her. Across town, Jun Seo stands in his father's office, marble and glass and judgment. Executives line the walls like statues pretending not to listen. You will issue a statement, his father says. You will donate. You will disappear for 6 months. I want to see her, Jun Seo says. The room freezes. His father turns slowly. Excuse me. I want to talk to Nia, without cameras, without lawyers. He swallows. I need to understand. You need to obey, his father snarls. That girl is a liability. She's a person, Jun Seo fires back, and the words surprise him with their heat. His father steps close enough that Jun Seo smells his cologne, power and age and fear. You are not in love, the man says quietly. You are ashamed. Don't confuse the two. But Jun Seo's heart is already racing at the sound of her name. I'm going to see her, he says. If you walk out that door, his father whispers, don't come back. The threat lands, heavy, final. Jun Seo looks at the office he grew up worshipping, the empire built into the walls, everything he's supposed to inherit. And he sees Nia standing in coffee-stained fabric, refusing to shrink. I'm sorry, he says to his father, and means something entirely different than before. He walks out. In the cafe after closing, Nia sits alone at a table, lights dimmed. The day replays in her skull like a loop she can't stop. Every comment, every stare, every second of courage she borrowed and doesn't know how to return. The door opens. She looks up, expecting Hyun. It's Jun Seo. Her body goes rigid, anger flashes hot and protective. We're closed. I know, he says, his voice is stripped bare. No audience, no swagger. I came to talk. You talked enough this morning. I didn't say the right things. She stands slowly. Her heart is pounding so loud she's sure he hears it. You think words fix burns? She asks. No, he says, but silence kills me. The honesty knocks the air from her lungs. Why are you here? She whispers. Because I walked away from everything, he says, and I need to know if it was for something real or just guilt. The cafe feels smaller. The space between them is electric. You don't walk away from billions for guilt, she says. I walked away because you looked at me like I could be better, he admits, and I want to be the man you saw, even if you never look at me again. Her chest aches. This is dangerous. This is the edge of a cliff. You hurt me, she says. I know, he answers. I'll carry that forever. Just let me stand near you while I learn how to be different. She studies him, the fear, sincerity. The boy is trying to become a man without a map. Inside her, two voices war. Protect yourself, trust him. She steps closer. If you stay, she says softly, you don't get to run when it's hard. I've been running my whole life, he whispers. I'm tired. Their hands almost touch. The door chime rings again. Hyun stands in the doorway, eyes sharp, taking in the distance between them, the air thick with something fragile and new. Nia's breath catches. Jun Seo turns. And in that charged silence, all three of them understand. This is no longer about humiliation. This is about love sharpening into a weapon. Hyun doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't have to. The cafe bends toward him like metal to a magnet. His gaze slides from Jun Seo to Nia and settles there, a question wrapped in warning. You're not answering your phone, he says softly. Nia hears everything inside the softness. Fear, anger, relief, possession he's trying to strangle before it speaks. I needed quiet, she replies. I'm talking. Hyun's eyes flick to Jun Seo. I see that. Jun Seo feels the weight of what looks like a hand on his throat. He's faced boardrooms, paparazzi, police investigations. None of them felt like this, like being measured and found fragile. I'm not here to cause trouble, Jun Seo says. I just want. You already caused trouble, Hyun cuts in, calm as winter. You're deciding what kind of man you are after. The words land clean, surgical. Nia steps between them before the air can harden further. Stop, she whispers. I'm not a territory to defend. Hyun's jaw tightens. He looks at her like she just pressed a finger into a bruise. I know that, he says quietly. I'm defending you. I didn't ask to be defended, she fires back. I asked to be seen. The cafe hums with the echo of it. Jun Seo watches her, heart hammering. She stands like a bridge between them, one man built of power and control, the other unraveling in real time. And she's choosing neither. She's choosing herself. That terrifies him, that attracts him more. I'll leave, Jun Seo says suddenly, if you want me to. Nia turns to him. His voice is steady, but his hands are shaking. He doesn't hide it this time. I just needed to tell you, he continues, that I'm trying, not for forgiveness, for direction. You're the first person who ever made me want to look at my own reflection without lying. Her throat tightens. No one has ever handed her that kind of responsibility before. It feels like glass in her palms. You don't build yourself on me, she says. You build yourself on truth. I'm not your redemption story. I know, he whispers, but you're my wake-up call. Silence blooms. Di-hyun watches her face, watches the way her anger melts into something softer, more dangerous. Hope. Hope is a door he cannot close once it opens. Nia, he says gently, he's drowning. Don't let him pull you under while he learns to swim. She looks at him and pain flashes bright. You think I'm that weak? I think you care, he says, and caring is a current. Jun-seo steps back. The space feels suddenly sacred, like he's intruding on a conversation that existed long before him. You love her, he says quietly to Di-hyun. The words land like a gunshot without sound. Di-hyun doesn't flinch, but his eyes darken. That's not your concern, he replies. It is as if I'm standing here asking her to trust me, Jun-seo says. I deserve to know who I'm asking her to walk away from. Nia's heart slams against her ribs. Stop. Don't say it. Don't make this real. Di-hyun looks at her. For a moment, the world narrows to that gaze. Years of unsaid things press against the silence. I love you, he says. The confession is quiet, absolute. It splits the room open. Nia's breath leaves her in a broken sound. She knew. Somewhere deep she always knew. But hearing it is different. Hearing it makes it a living thing. I never said it, Di-hyun continues, eyes locked on hers. Because loving me is dangerous. My world eats what it touches. I wanted you outside it, safe, free. Tears sting her eyes. You don't get to decide that for me. I was trying to give you a life without blood in it, he whispers. You were trying to choose my fear for me, she fires back. I can choose my own risks. Jun-seo stands frozen, heart cracking open. He feels like an audience member to the most intimate play in the world. And yet every word slices into him too. I don't want to take her from you, he says hoarsely. I don't want to disappear without trying. Nia turns to him. Two men, two futures, neither simple, neither safe. Inside her, her mother's voice rises again. Love is not a country. You carry it or you don't. I'm not a prize, she says, voice shaking. I'm not in a war to win. I'm a woman who got burned this morning and somehow ended the day with two men confessing their hearts. Do you understand how insane that feels? A broken laugh escapes her. Tears follow. Di-hyun steps forward instinctively. Jun-seo does too. They stop, inches apart, hands hovering uselessly. Nia wipes her face hard. I care about both of you, she admits, in different ways that scare me, and I hate that today turned my life into a crossroads. Then don't choose, Jun-seo says softly. Not tonight. Di-hyun closes his eyes briefly. When he opens them, the steel is back. He's right, he says. You don't decide under pressure, you breathe first. The unexpected agreement shocks Jun-seo. For a second, they're not rivals. They're two men terrified of breaking the same woman. Nia nods, chest heaving. I need time. You have it, they say at the same time. The synchronicity almost makes her smile. Her phone buzzes again. A new notification cuts through the fragile calm. A headline flashes across the screen. Park Air DISOWNED after viral incident. Jun-seo goes pale. My father, he murmurs. He scrolls with numb fingers. Statements, press releases. His name erased from company bios in real time. He feels the ground tilt. I have nothing, he whispers. Nia steps closer before she can stop herself. You have yourself. That's the problem, he laughs weakly. I don't know who that is without the money. Di-hyun studies him. The arrogance is gone. What's left is a young man standing in the ruins of an identity built by someone else. Then you build, Dehyun says, brick by brick like the rest of us. Jun Seo looks at him, surprised by the absence of mockery. Why are you helping me? He asks. Because she cares, Dehyun replies simply, and I won't punish her heart by destroying you. The generosity hurts worse than hatred would. Nia presses a hand to her chest. The pressure inside her is unbearable. Love, fear, gratitude, desire all colliding. I can't carry both of you, she whispers. I'm not strong enough. Dehyun steps back, a deliberate surrender of space. You don't carry us, he says. We carry ourselves, we just walk near you if you let us. Jun Seo nods, eyes bright with unshed tears. I don't want to be your burden, he says. I want to be someone worthy of standing beside you. The sincerity in the room is suffocating, beautiful, terrifying. Nia laughs through tears. You're both idiots, she says. Brave, dramatic idiots. For the first time since morning, warmth spreads in her chest. Outside, the city roars on, unaware that inside a dark cafe 3 lives are rewiring themselves. And somewhere deep in the current pulling them together, fate smiles, because love is about to demand a price none of them are ready to pay. Nia doesn't sleep. The city hum seeps through her apartment walls, a restless pulse that matches the rhythm in her chest. She lies on her back staring at the ceiling, replaying the cafe in brutal clarity, the coffee, the apology, the confession, the way love landed in her lap like a weapon she never asked to hold. Her phone lights up again on the nightstand, messages stacking like bricks. Unknown number, we know where you live. Another, you ruined him, will ruin you. Her stomach drops, the air thickens. She sits up slowly, fingers hovering over the screen. Don't respond. Don't feed it. Dehyun's voice echoes in her memory. Fear is a door. Don't open it unless you're ready to walk through. But she's already walking. She stands, crosses the room, and pulls the curtain aside a centimeter. The street looks normal. Cars, neon, a drunk couple arguing in the distance. No shadows with knives, no monsters. And yet her skin crawls. Her phone vibrates again. A photo loads. Her building. Taken from across the street. Her breath stops. The knock on her door is soft, gentle, wrong. Her body locks. Every instinct screams run, hide, disappear, but her legs move toward the door anyway, slow, silent. She doesn't breathe. She doesn't think. She peeks through the peephole. Dehyun. Relief crashes into her so hard her knees almost buckle. She yanks the door open. You shouldn't be here, she whispers. I know, he says. His eyes sweep the hallway, then her face. You're not answering. She holds up the phone. He reads the screen. His jaw tightens into something lethal. I increase security, he murmurs, but hate travels faster than guards. I don't want guards, she says automatically, and then her voice cracks. I don't want to be hunted. You're not hunted, he says. You're targeted, there's a difference. Targeted means I can hit back. She laughs shakily. That's supposed to comfort me. It's supposed to be honest. He steps inside, closing the door with quiet finality. The apartment feels smaller with him in it. Safer, more dangerous. I'm staying, he says. That's not a question. No. She should argue. She should protect her independence like a flag. Instead, she leans against the door and exhales. Okay, she whispers. The word feels like surrender. It also feels like survival. Across the city, Jun Seo sits on the floor of his penthouse surrounded by half-packed boxes. His father's lawyers were efficient. Accounts frozen. Access revoked. His life was dismantled with corporate precision. He holds a framed photo of himself at 12, standing beside his father in front of a new skyscraper. They're both smiling. He looks proud. His father looks relieved. I built you for this, his father used to say, for legacy. Now the legacy is gone. His phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. You should have stayed quiet. She dies first. His blood turns to ice. He calls Nia instantly. It rings, no answer. Panic floods him, hot and blinding. He grabs his jacket and runs. In Nia's apartment, Di-hyun is packing, voice low into his phone. Korean clipped and sharp. I want every camera in a 3-block radius live. I want plates, faces, patterns move. He ends the call and looks at her. She's sitting on the couch, hugging her knees, trying to make herself smaller than fear. They're escalating, he says. This isn't just trolls. Someone's organizing this. Because of me, she whispers. Because of him, he answers. You embarrassed a powerful family. Power doesn't like mirrors. The knock comes again. Harder. Nia's heart slams against her ribs. Di-hyun's hand is already at his waist, gun drawn in one smooth motion. He gestures for silence. The knock becomes pounding. Nia, Junseo's voice cracks through the door. Open up. She sags with relief and rushes forward. Di-hyun grabs her arm mid-step. Wait. That's him, she says. I know, he replies. That doesn't make it safe. He moves to the side of the door, opens it fast, gun low but visible. Junseo stumbles inside, breathless. His eyes lock on the weapon, then on Nia. He scans her body like he's counting pieces. You're okay, he exhales. What are you doing here? She demands. He holds up his phone with shaking hands. The message glows between them. Silence detonates. Di-hyun reads it once, twice. His face empties. They're moving faster than I thought, he murmurs. Who? Junseo snaps. My father. No, Di-hyun says quietly. Someone worse. Someone using your father's fall as cover. Nia feels the floor tilt. I don't understand. You don't need to, Di-hyun says. You just need to trust me. Trust, the word hangs heavy. Junseo steps closer to her. I won't let anything happen to you, he says. Di-hyun's eyes flash. You don't have the infrastructure to promise that. I have my body, Junseo fires back. I'll stand in front of her if I have to. That's not protection, Di-hyun snaps. That's a suicide note. And what are you offering? Junseo demands. A bunker. Yes, Di-hyun says, if that's what keeps her breathing. Nia slams her hands against her thighs. Stop talking about me like I'm luggage. They both freeze. I am not a thing you transport, she continues, voice shaking with fury. I am a person who is scared and angry and trying to understand why loving either of you suddenly feels like signing a death contract. The word loving echoes in the room. All three of them hear it. Her eyes widen. She didn't mean to say it out loud, but it's there now, alive and undeniable. Junseo's chest tightens painfully. Di-hyun looks like someone just pressed a blade into his ribs. Nia laughs weakly. Great, now it's real. The pounding in her ears matches the pounding at the door downstairs, distant shouts, running footsteps. Di-hyun moves instantly. They found the building. Fear crystallizes into action. Back exit, he orders, now. They run, down stairwells, through concrete corridors that smell like oil and dust. Nia's lungs burn. Junseo's hand finds hers without asking. She grips back like drowning. Outside, black vans screech at the curb. Men spill out, masks, movement, intent. Di-hyun shoves them behind a pillar, gun raised. A shot cracks the air, screams, chaos erupts. Nia's world collapses into fragments. Sirens, footsteps, Junseo's breath in her ear. I'm here, he whispers. I'm not leaving. Di-hyun fires again, controlled, precise. He moves like violence is a language he's fluent in. He grabs them both and drags them toward a waiting car. They pile in, tires scream, the city blurs. Nia is shaking uncontrollably. Junseo wraps an arm around her. She doesn't pull away. Di-hyun glances at them in the rearview mirror. Something dark and resigned flickers in his eyes. "This is bigger than humiliation," he says. "Someone wants leverage, and right now you're it." Nia presses her face into Jun Seo's chest. His heart is racing as fast as hers. "I didn't ask for this," she sobs. "I know," he whispers, "but I'm not sorry I met you." The confession is quiet, absolute. Hyun looks away. And for the first time since this began, he realizes the truth that splits him open. He can protect her from the world. He cannot protect her from love. And love is about to demand blood. The safe house smells like detergent and metal, too clean, too quiet. Nia sits on the edge of a narrow bed, hands locked together so tightly her knuckles ache. The silence after violence is worse than the violence itself. It leaves room for thought. And thought is merciless. Jun Seo is packing, back and forth, back and forth. Every step says, "I should have stopped this, I should have been stronger, I should have been someone else." He runs his hands through his hair until it stands uneven, boyish, lost. Hyun stands by the window, watching the street with predator stillness. His gun rests on the table, but the tension in his shoulders says it's never out of reach. He hasn't spoken in 10 minutes. Nia can't take it. "Say something," she whispers. Both men look at her. "I don't care what," she adds, "just don't let this be quiet." Jun Seo stops packing. "I'm sorry," he blurts. The words fall out of him like blood. "I'm sorry I dragged you into this. I'm sorry my name is a storm you got caught in. If I could cut it off my body and throw it away, I would." Nia looks at him, really looks. His eyes are rimmed red. His mouth is trembling. This isn't an apology as a performance. This is a man flayed open. "You didn't drag me," she says softly. "I stepped in. I chose to look at you, that's on me." "I wasn't worth the step," he whispers. Hyun's voice cuts through the room, low and steady. "Worth isn't decided by danger. If it were, none of us would deserve to breathe." Nia turns to him. There's something broken in his calm tonight, a fatigue that goes bone deep. "Talk to me," she says. He hesitates. That alone terrifies her. Hyun never hesitates. "This isn't random," he says finally. "The men tonight weren't hired muscle. They were professionals. Someone with infrastructure is testing how far they can reach into my territory." "Your territory," Jun Seo echoes. Hyun meets his eyes. "Yes, you walked into a war you didn't know existed." Nia's stomach drops. "Because of me." "Because you're attached to me," Hyun says. "And now to him." The room shrinks. "I don't want to be a weakness," she whispers. "You're not a weakness," he says instantly. "You're a lever, there's a difference. Weakness breaks. A lever moves the world." "That doesn't sound comforting," she mutters. "It's not supposed to be," he replies. Jun Seo sinks onto the chair across from her. His hands are shaking again. He doesn't hide them. "My father taught me money solves everything," he says. "But money can't stop bullets. It can't stop fear. I don't know how to exist in a world where I can't buy safety." "You learn," Hyun says, "or you die." The bluntness hits like a slap. Nia reaches out and grabs Jun Seo's wrist. His pulse is frantic under her fingers. "You're not dying," she says fiercely. "Neither of you are. I refuse that ending." Hyun watches her hand on Jun Seo. A flicker of pain crosses his face so fast it almost isn't there. He swallows it. "You don't get to refuse reality," he murmurs. "Watch me," she snaps. Silence stretches, electric. Her phone vibrates on the bed. All three of them freeze. She picks it up slowly. A video message. Unknown sender. Her thumb hovers. Every instinct screams don't. She presses play. The screen fills with a masked face. The voice is distorted, oily. "You embarrass the wrong bloodline," it says. "The Park Empire falls, but we remain. We collect what is owed. Tonight was interest. The girl is collateral." Nia's breath stops. Jun-seo lunges forward. Give me that. The video continues. Choose, the voice purrs. The heir dies clean, or the girl dies slowly. The screen goes black. The room detonates in silence. No, Jun-seo whispers. No, no, no. Di-hyun's face turns to stone. They're forcing a split. A split, Nia echoes. They want us divided, he says. They want him isolated. They want you unprotected. It's strategy. Jun-seo stands abruptly. The chair crashes behind him. I'll go, he says. Nia grabs his arm. What? I'll go to them, he repeats. They want me. I will end this. You don't end it, Di-hyun says sharply. You hand them victory. I hand her life, Jun-seo fires back. That's the only math that matters. Nia steps in front of him. Her hands press against his chest. His heart slams against her palms. You don't get to sacrifice yourself like a hero in a movie, she says. This is real. If you go, they don't stop. They just take me after. He stares at her, shattered. Then what do I do? Tell me how to keep you alive. The plea cracks something inside her. Stay, she whispers. Stay and fight with us. Don't run toward death because it feels noble. Di-hyun watches them. The intimacy, the desperation, love braided with terror. He closes his eyes for a fraction of a second. When he opens them, he's already decided something terrible. I'll trade, he says. They both turn. No, Nia breathes. She knows that tone, it's final. I'm the target, Di-hyun continues calmly. They're provoking me. If I walk into their hands, the pressure lifts from you. That's suicide, Jun-seo snaps. It's negotiation, Di-hyun replies. I've survived worse. Nia's chest caves in. She steps toward him like she's walking through water. You don't get to die for me, she says. I didn't survive all this to watch you vanish. His gaze softens. You survived to live, if my absence buys that. She slams her fist into his chest. Hard, tears spill over. Stop deciding my life like it's a chessboard, she cries. I love you. The words rip out of her raw and unstoppable. The room freezes. Jun-seo's face drains of color. Di-hyun looks like the world just tilted off its axis. Nia is shaking, sobbing now. I love you, she repeats, voice breaking. And I love him too, and I don't know how to hold that without breaking, but I refuse to let love turn into a funeral. The confession hangs there, burning. Jun-seo's eyes fill. He laughs weakly. Of course you do, he whispers. Of course you'd love the man who'd die for you. And I love the man trying to learn how to live, she fires back. Don't reduce yourself to a martyr because it's easier than becoming better. He flinches. The truth hits home. Di-hyun steps forward. His hands cradle her face. She's crying so hard she can barely see. Nia, he murmurs, look at me. She does. I love you, he says. No armor, no distance, just the truth. That's why I'm terrified. Loving you is the first selfish thing I've ever wanted to keep. Her breath shatters. Then keep it, she whispers. Stay. He trembles, the great, unshakable man trembling in her hands. Jun-seo turns away, wiping his face roughly. He feels like he's intruding on a sacred moment and dying from it. I won't let either of you die, he says hoarsely. I don't care what it costs me. I'm done being the boy who hides behind walls. Di-hyun looks at him, sees the transformation carving itself into bone. This will cost you everything, he says. Jun-seo nods. Then I'll finally know what I'm worth. The three of them stand there, bound by fear and love, and a choice that has no safe outcome. Outside, the city moves. Cars, lights, lives untouched by the war brewing in a small safe-house room. Inside, Nia grips their hands like anchors. I'm not collateral, she whispers fiercely. I'm the reason you both survive. And for the first time since the threats began, they believe her. Which is exactly why the next betrayal will hurt enough to change them forever. The betrayal arrives quietly. That's what makes it lethal. Nia wakes to warmth and the unfamiliar weight of safety. For one suspended second, she doesn't remember where she is. Then the safe house ceiling sharpens into focus and memory crashes back. The threats, the confession, the way love spilled out of her mouth like blood she couldn't stop. Her cheek is pressed against fabric, Jun Seo's shirt. His arm is draped protectively around her waist even in sleep, fingers curled like he's afraid she'll evaporate. On the chair across the room, Lee Hyun sits upright, head tilted back, eyes closed but not sleeping, guarding, watching even at rest. The sight punches something deep in her chest. I did this to them, she thinks. I pulled them into orbit around me, and now gravity is tearing them apart. She shifts carefully. Jun Seo stirs, his grip tightening instinctively. Don't go, he murmurs. I'm not, she whispers. His eyes blink open. For a second, they're naked with relief before he remembers the world. You're still here, he says softly, like it's a miracle. So are you. He gives a shaky smile, barely. Across the room, Lee Hyun's voice cuts in, low and steady. We need to move. Nia looks up. His eyes are open now, alert, the softness from last night sealed away behind discipline. Why, she asks. Because the location is burned, he says. We were found too fast. That doesn't happen unless someone talks. The words land heavy. Someone talked. Jun Seo sits up slowly. Your people. Lee Hyun's jaw tightens. My people don't talk. The certainty is absolute, which leaves only one direction the suspicion can turn. Silence stretches. Nia feels it crawling over her skin. You think it's me, Jun Seo says quietly. Lee Hyun doesn't answer immediately. That hesitation is worse than accusation. I think, he says carefully, that your father has resources I can't map yet. I don't even have a phone line he can tap, Jun Seo fires back. He cut me off. Money doesn't disappear overnight, Lee Hyun replies. Loyalty lasts longer than bank accounts. Jun Seo stands, hurt flashes hot in his eyes. You think I'd sell her out, he demands. I think you grew up in a house where betrayal was a business model, Lee Hyun says, and habits survive childhood. The blow lands clean. Nia steps between them. Stop. They don't. I am not your weakness, Jun Seo snaps. I'm your ally. Then act like it, Lee Hyun fires back. All you've done is drag fire to her door. Jun Seo's hands curl into fists. You think I don't know that? You think I don't replay that cafe every second wishing I could rip my own hands off? The raw self-hatred in his voice stuns the room. Nia grabs his wrists before he can hurt himself with the tension alone. Enough, she says. Both of you, you're bleeding on each other while the enemy watches. They freeze. Her eyes are bright with fury and fear, and something harder. You want to protect me, she says. Then listen. The only way they win is if you turn into the monsters they expect, suspicious, cruel, alone. She looks at Lee Hyun. Trust him. Then at Jun Seo, and you trust him. Her voice shakes. Trust me enough to stand in the same room without tearing it apart. The silence that follows is fragile. Lee Hyun exhales slowly. I don't trust easily. I know, she whispers, but you love me. The word lands like a blade wrapped in silk. He nods once. I do. Then trust what I see, she says. I see a man trying to become better. Don't punish him for who he was. Jun Seo's eyes fill. He looks away, ashamed of the tears. I don't deserve you, he whispers. Nia laughs softly. That's not your decision. Lee Hyun studies Jun Seo for a long time, measuring, recalculating. Finally, if you betray us, he says quietly, I will end you. Jun Seo meets his gaze without flinching. If I betray her, I'll end myself first. The truth in it chills the air. Lee Hyun nods. agreement sealed in something darker than words. Nia releases a breath she didn't know she was holding. Her phone buzzes. All three of them freeze. She looks down slowly. A new message. Not a threat. A location pin. And a single line. Come alone if you want the truth about your mother. The world tilts. My mother, Nia whispers. Hyun is beside her instantly. What is it? She shows him. His face drains of color. That's impossible, he murmurs. Seo looks between them. What? Nia's hands shake violently now. My mother died when I was 12. Hyun's jaw locks. She didn't die, he says quietly. She disappeared. The room goes silent. Nia stares at him like he just spoke another language. What? I lied, he says. The word detonates. You what? She breathes. I told you she died because it was safer, he continues. Because the truth would have pulled you into this world sooner. Her chest caves in. You lied to me about my mother. I protected you, he insists. You stole my grief, she screams. You let me bury a ghost. Seo steps back, stunned. The foundation of the room is cracking open. Hyun reaches for her. She jerks away like he burned her. Don't touch me. The words are small, devastating. I loved you, she whispers. I trusted you with every broken piece of me, and you built that trust on a lie. His voice breaks. I was trying to keep you alive. You were trying to control my story, she fires back. That's not love, that's ownership. The accusation lands like a gunshot. Seo watches Hyun stagger under it. The invincible man bleeding from a wound no bullet could make. Nia looks at the location pin again. Her mother, alive, maybe. The possibility tears her open. I'm going, she says. No, Hyun says instantly. It's a trap. I don't care, she replies. You already stole one version of my life. You don't get to steal this one. He steps in front of the door. I won't let you walk into their hands. You don't get to let me do anything, she whispers. The quiet fury in her voice is more terrifying than shouting. Seo steps beside her. I'm going with her, he says. Hyun looks between them, betrayal flashing hot in his eyes. You trust a message over me, he asks Nia. She meets his gaze, tears streaming, voice steady. I don't know who you are right now. The words shatter him. For the first time since they met, Hyun looks lost. The middle of the storm arrives like a breath shared with the audience. If you're feeling your heart twist with theirs, stay with us. Subscribe, like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Afro-Korean Stories TV lives in these impossible choices, and you're part of every heartbeat. Nia grabs her jacket with shaking hands. I'm done being protected from my own life, she says. If this destroys me, at least it will be my destruction. Seo takes her hand. His grip is steady. We walk together, he says. Hyun stands frozen, every instinct screaming to stop them, to cage her, to save her. But love is not a cage. He steps aside. The door opens. And as Nia walks past him, she whispers the words that will haunt him forever. If she's alive, you stole 12 years from me. The door closes. Hyun stands alone in the silence. And for the first time in his life, the man who controls wars realizes he has lost the only battle that mattered. Rain starts the moment they step outside. Not gentle rain, not cinematic drizzle, a hard, punishing downpour that flattens the city into streaks of neon and shadow. Nia barely feels it. Her body is moving on something older than thought. Instinct, grief, fury braided into a rope pulling her forward. Seo keeps pace beside her, one hand locked around hers like a promise he's afraid to speak out loud. Talk to me, he says over the rain. Please don't disappear inside your head. She laughs, a sharp, broken sound. My head is the only place I've been allowed to live for 12 years. The words slice between them. He doesn't let go. The location pin leads them to the old industrial docks, a skeleton of cranes and rusted containers looming over black water. The city feels far away here, forgotten, perfect for secrets. This is a bad place, Junseo murmurs. All the important truths happen in bad places, Nia whispers. Her heart is pounding so hard she tastes metal. A single light burns inside a warehouse ahead. The door is cracked open, waiting. Every survival instinct screams turn back. She walks in. The air inside smells like salt and oil. A chair sits in the center of the concrete floor, a figure tied to it, head slumped. Nia's breath stops. Mom! The word leaves her like a child's prayer. The figure lifts her head slowly. The face is older, thinner, but the eyes. Her eyes. Nia staggers forward. No, this is. It's me, the woman whispers. Her voice is cracked glass. Baby, it's me. The world collapses into a pinpoint. Nia falls to her knees in front of her, hands shaking as they hover, terrified to touch in case the illusion shatters. You died, Nia breathes. I buried you. I tried to come back, her mother sobs. They wouldn't let me. Who? Junseo demands, scanning the shadows. Slow clapping echoes from the darkness. A man steps into the light, impeccable suit, silver hair, smile carved from ice. Junseo's blood turns cold. Father. Park Minyi inclines his head. Hello, son. Nia's stomach drops. The air leaves her lungs. You, she whispers, you did this. Minyi smiles at her gently. I preserved her, for leverage. Insurance is important in my line of work. Nia looks at her mother, at the ropes biting into her wrists. 12 years of absence crystallize into something monstrous. You stole her, she says. I protected my interests, he replies calmly, and now my interest is restoring balance. Junseo steps in front of Nia instinctively. Let them go. His father laughs softly. You walked away from the empire as a waitress. I underestimated how sentimental you are. She's not a waitress, Junseo snaps. She's collateral, Minyi interrupts. Like her mother, like you. The word hits like a hammer. Nia stands slowly. Every muscle trembles. You ruined my life, she whispers. No, Minyi says. I curated it. You were safe, fed, hidden from ugliness. You locked my mother in a cage. And you grew up alive, he replies coolly. Gratitude would be appropriate. Something inside Nia snaps. She lunges. Junseo grabs her before she reaches Minyi, arms wrapping around her waist as she thrashes. I'll kill you, she screams. Minyi watches with detached fascination. There it is, he murmurs, the fire I paid to preserve. Junseo holds her tight. Nia, breathe. Her body is shaking violently. Her mother is crying in the chair, whispering her name over and over like a spell trying to stitch the years back together. Let her go, Junseo says through clenched teeth. Minyi tilts his head. Trade. The word lands heavy. You come home, he continued. You take your place beside me, public apology, reinstatement. The girl and her mother disappear into safety. And if I refuse, Junseo asks. Minyi smiles. The lights flicker, armed men step from the shadows. Then history repeats, he says softly, and she grows up without a mother too. Nia goes still in Junseo's arms. The threat sinks into her bones. No, she whispers. No, you don't get to do this again. Junseo feels her collapse inward, feels the weight of her fear. He looks at his father. I'll come back, he says. No, Nia twists to face him. You don't sacrifice yourself for me. I'm not sacrificing, he whispers. I'm choosing. You're choosing a cage. I'm choosing you alive. Tears spilled down her face. I won't love a ghost, Jun-seo. Don't you dare become one for me. His forehead presses against hers. Rainwater and tears mix between them. I already became someone else the moment I met you, he murmurs. This is just finishing the transformation. Min-yi checks his watch. Decide. Nia looks at her mother, at the ropes, at 12 stolen years. She looks at Jun-seo. I can't lose you too, she whispers. You're not losing me, he says. You're gaining time. That's the same thing, she cries. He kisses her. It's not gentle. It's desperate. A collision of everything they never had time to say. She clutches his jacket like she can anchor him to this moment forever. I love you, he breathes against her lips. The words tear out of him raw and undeniable. Her heart breaks open. I love you, she sobs back. Min-yi clears his throat impatiently. Jun-seo pulls away slowly. His hands linger on her face like he's memorizing it. Take care of her, he whispers to Nia's mother. The woman nods through tears. You're a good man. No, he says softly, I'm trying to be. He steps toward his father. Each step feels like walking into deep water. Nia's scream rips through the warehouse. Jun-seo. He doesn't look back. If he does, he won't survive it. Min-yi smiles. Welcome home, son. The men cut Nia's mother free. She collapses into Nia's arms. They cling to each other, shaking. Jun-seo stands beside his father, shoulders squared, face carved into something unrecognizable. A prince returning to a throne built from bones. The vans pull away minutes later. Nia is left in the rain with her mother in her arms, and the echo of a kiss that feels like a funeral. Di-hyun arrives too late. He steps from his car, takes in the empty dock the tire tracks, Nia sobbing on the ground. His chest caves in. I'm sorry, he whispers. She looks up at him with eyes that have aged a decade in an hour. He traded himself, she says hollowly. Di-hyun closes his eyes. Of course he did. Love always collects its debt. Nia presses her forehead to the concrete, voice breaking into the storm. I didn't want a hero, she cries. I wanted a life. And somewhere in the city, Jun-seo sits in the back of his father's car, staring at his reflection in the window, whispering the same words to himself. I hope this was enough. But deep down, all three of them know. The cost has only begun. The city feels wrong without him. Nia notices it in the spaces between sounds. The train doors are closing. The crosswalk signal is ticking down. Every rhythm is intact, but the meaning is gone. Like the world is speaking a language she used to understand and suddenly forgot. Her mother sleeps in the next room. That sentence alone should feel like a miracle. Instead, it feels like a wound stitched too tight. Nia sits on the kitchen floor with her back against the cabinet, staring at her phone. No messages, no ransom demands, no proof of life, just silence heavy enough to crush bone. Di-hyun stands at the sink, hands braced on the counter. He hasn't taken his coat off. He looks like a man afraid that if he relaxes for 1 second, the entire structure of himself will collapse. We'll get him back, he says. It's the first thing he said in 20 minutes. Nia laughs quietly, not cruel, not kind, just empty. You don't even believe that, she whispers. He closes his eyes. I believe in war, he says, and I believe I know how to fight one. That's not the same as believing he survives it. The truth sits between them like broken glass. Di-hyun turns. His face is carved from grief and rage, and something softer he can't bury anymore. I would trade places with him, he says. I know, she answers. And you'd hate me for it, he adds. I'd hate the world, she corrects. Their eyes lock, shared devastation, shared love, no victory in either direction. From the bedroom, her mother coughs softly. The sound pulls Nia to her feet. She moves on instinct, checking blankets, adjusting pillows, touching her mother's forehead like she's verifying reality. The older woman opens her eyes. "You look like you're drowning," she murmurs. Nia swallows. "I might be." Her mother studies her face. 12 lost years trying to compress into one glance. "He gave himself," she says gently. Nia nods, tears threaten again. "That boy loves you," her mother continues. "I didn't ask him to die for me," Nia whispers. "No one asks for that kind of love," her mother says. "It arrives anyway." Nia sits on the edge of the bed. "What do I do with it?" Her mother smiles sadly. "You carry it, and you live loudly enough that it wasn't wasted." The words settle deep. In the kitchen, Hyun is already on the phone, voice low and lethal. Names, locations, promises that sound like threats wrapped in silk. He is building a storm. Nia watches him from the doorway. "You're going to burn the city," she says. "If that's what it takes," he replies without turning. "And if he dies anyway?" The question freezes him. Slowly he looks at her. "Then the city burns for nothing," he says, "but I won't sit still while he disappears." Nia walks to him, takes the phone from his hand, ends the call. He stares at her like she slapped him. "Listen to me," she says. "If you turn this into a war, he becomes a message, a symbol. My mother becomes leveraged again. I become a target that never sleeps." "So what do you want?" he demands. "Patience." "I want strategy," she says, "not revenge." The word revenge hangs heavy. Hyun exhales slowly. "I don't know how to love quietly," he admits. Her heart cracks open at the honesty. "You don't have to love quietly," she whispers. "You just have to love being smart." He laughs bitterly. "You think I've ever been accused of that? I think you've never had something fragile enough to force you to learn." Silence then. "You're fragile," he says softly. "I'm furious," she corrects. "That's stronger." Their foreheads almost touch, grief humming between them like a live wire. "I love him," she says. "I know. I love you too." The confession is quieter than last time. He still flinches like it's a blade. "I don't need you to choose," he says hoarsely. "I know," she answers, "but I need you to hear it without turning it into a battlefield." He nods once, painfully. Somewhere across the city, Junseo kneels. His father stands in front of him, immaculate as ever, watching like a collector inspecting a returned artifact. "You look thinner," Minyi remarks. Junseo laughs weakly. "I miss the prison diet." "This is not prison," his father replies coolly. "This is a correction." Junseo raises his eyes. They're clearer than they've ever been. "You kidnapped a woman for 12 years, he says. "You threatened another. That's not correct. That's rot." Minyi's smile tightens. "Everything I built was for you," he says. "Every compromise, every necessary cruelty." "I didn't ask for it," Junseo whispers. "You inherited it," his father snaps. "That's the same thing." Silence stretches. Junseo feels Nia's kiss like a brand still burning on his lips. "I'm not your heir," he says quietly. Minyi's expression doesn't change. That's what makes it terrifying. "You are my son," he replies, "and sons don't get to resign." Guards shift in the shadows. Junseo bows his head. "Not in submission. In clarity." "Then I'll die your son," he says, "but I won't live as your monster." The words land like a prophecy. Back in the apartment, Nia's phone buzzes. A video. Her hands shake as she opens it. Junseo fills the screen, bruised, kneeling, alive. Relief detonates inside her chest, so violently she almost collapses. He looks straight into the camera. "Nia," he says softly, "if you're seeing this, it means I'm still me." Tears blur her vision. "I don't regret loving you," he continues. "Not for a second. You made me a man I recognize. Whatever happens next, don't shrink. Don't become small to survive me. Her sob rips free. "I'd do it again," he whispers, "every time." The screen cuts to black. Hyun catches her as her knees give out. She's laughing and crying at once, clutching the phone to her chest. "He's alive," she breathes. "He's still him." Hyun closes his eyes in relief. For a moment, they just hold each other in the wreckage of hope. Near the end of this storm, when hearts are raw and still beating, remember why you're here. Stay with Afro-Korean Stories TV, subscribe, like, and walk with us through these impossible loves that refuse to die quietly. Nia looks up, eyes blazing now. "We don't rescue him with bullets," she says. "We rescue him with truth." Hyun studies her. The transformation is complete. The frightened girl is gone. In her place stands a woman sharpened by loss. "What are you planning?" he asks. She wipes her tears. "I burn his father's empire the way it deserves," she whispers, "in daylight." And somewhere in a locked room, Junseo smiles faintly. Because he knows that tone. It's the sound of a woman who survived. And the final cost of loving her is about to rewrite all of them forever.